Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Welcome with another video of Saudi Aramco work permit receiver uh, exam question and answers, and the third book Confined Space entry. I hope the first two videos related to lockout, tagout, and hold tag, and also has a recognition and control would also be so much beneficial for all of you. So this is the number third video, ultimate video of your key question and answers related to WPR exam with any training center of Saudi Arabia approved by Saudi Aramco, inshallah. So just humble request as usual, subscribe your channel, Trainings On, refer to the community you want to help. If anyone is asking anything related to safety, refer this channel and let them learn by themselves, because self done is well done. So you can save your time, because already at our channel we have more than 185 videos. So I'm sure this will help them a lot, inshallah. So let's start with question number one. There are multiple exercises in the book of Confined Space Entry of Saudi Aramco. So let's start with question number one, exercise A. An excavated trench deeper than feet is considered a confined space, so deeper than 4 feet or 1.2 meter. Okay, a confined space has restricted and entry and exit. And which of the following are considered to be confined spaces? Tanks versus manholes. All answers yes, all, because all three are good examples of confined spaces. And bear in mind, confined space means a space which is not designed for human occupancy, a purpose-built space. It's not like a place where we can drink, smoke, or have some or dine in. No, no, no. This place is specifically a purpose-built and not designed for human occupancy, continuous human occupancy. Okay. Now, which of the following describes a confined space? That is the question. Limited access, limited natural ventilation, not designed for human occupancy, and limited working space. So all of the answers are correct. Now, the atmosphere of a confined space is unacceptable if the oxygen level is below percent, like as per Saudi Aramco, below 20% or above than 23.5%. So the normal range is 20 to 23.5%. So the atmosphere of a confined space is unacceptable if oxygen is below percentage or above percentage. So the normal range is 20 to 23.5%. So below 20% as per Saudi Aramco, but as per OSHA 19.5%. And on the other side, as per Saudi Aramco, 23.5%, like above than 23.5%, and less than 20% is not acceptable. If we still want to work, above than 23.5% is not allowed, because explosion and fire hazard are going to be there. And below 20%, of course, suffocation and kind of chances of unconsciousness will be more higher. So it's not allowed, because oxygen is life, right? But yes, if you have certain permissions, then of course with the SCPA or self-contained breathing apparatus or supplied air breathing apparatus, we can still work, but it's required plenty of approvals from Saudi Arabia. Now, which of the following hazards can be found in confined spaces? There are plenty of hazards in confined spaces, but some of the hazards they enlisted in the options, like temperature. I would say extreme temperature, or maybe low temperature, below below 0 degree, or noise, hazardous atmosphere. All the answers. So all the answers, because all three are the hazards. Now, which hazardous atmosphere can be found in a confined space? Maybe asphyxiating atmospheres like suffocation, toxic atmospheres, flammable atmosphere like LEL. All the answers. So bear in mind, in confined space, if anything goes wrong, God forbid, during the entry, while working in a confined space, or even coming out from the confined space, if anything happens to any employee, the rescue operations are one of the most difficult operations in confined space. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't get second chance. That is why we have to be proactive. We have to be very, very much proactive, rather than reactive. that something gonna happen, and then we'll take some actions, Don't wait for the accidents. Now, number 8, exhaust, diesel, or petrol fumes near a confined space may contain that can present a hazard for a nearby confined space, of course, carbon monoxide. The air temperature in a confined space is not considered when evaluating working condition in confined space. No, false. We have to consider air temperature. Now, exercise B is all about what must you have before entering into a confined space within Saudi Aramco facility or a project site. We required a valid confined space entry permit issued by a certified issuer. Like you'll be, inshallah, after passing third-party exam and then Aramco exam, you'll be certified work permit receiver, and even I would say qualified work permit receiver, and then you'll be, along with Saudi Aramco issuer, you as a work permit receiver can present your company, and both parties have to sign a permit, and I call it a kind of a legal agreement, you know. So both parties are responsible for safety. It's not like only you as a contractor are responsible. Even Saudi Aramco as a customer, they are more responsible than us, to be very honest, because we are going there to serve them, maybe for maintenance project, maybe for inspection, maybe for some repair projects, but or maybe some construction projects, but ultimately we are working within their territory. So their responsibility is also, that is why they have plenty of safety policies, procedures, a lot of focus on safety all the time, and they are motivating us to follow safety regulations. The reason is Aramco is a global brand, so they don't want to demolish their goodwill. They don't want to see anyone to be killed, died at their site. They don't want to, but to be very honest, it's a human ethical responsibility also. As a human, we don't want to kill any human at our site because of poor safety system. That is why they clearly mention everyone within Saudi Aramco, direct or indirect, all employees, including subcontractors, contractors, mega contractors, all are responsible for safety. So it's a janitor to general manager or top to bottom, everyone is responsible for safety. Okay, that is why you have to report. That is why you have to avoid any unsafe act, or you need to report any unsafe conditions or any sort of abnormal conditions. Immediately you have to report. This is your ethical responsibility, especially when you work with Saudi Aramco, because they don't want to compromise with safety, quality, and credibility, inshallah. Now, what are the roles you need for a confined space entry? Minimum required a supervisor, CSC supervisor, entrant, and a standby man. Now, question number 3, which of the following are part of standby man's responsibility? All are like monitor internal and external activities, never leaves the point of entry, and also maintains communication and orders evacuation of entrant in case of emergency. So all the answers. The question number 4 of exercise B is, which of the following are part of the entrance responsibilities? Again, never enters until precautions are in place, maintains communication and alerts standby man in case of emergency, sir, or even other entrance. So all the answers. Now, exercise C is more like a true and false. A confined space entry permit is required for jobs when you enter confined space. True. Vessel entry for cleaning activities and hydrocarbon processing plant requires a confined space entry. True, because it's a restricted area, danger zone, or kind of hazardous area. So whenever you are crossing a line of fire, of course you require a permit, or even the person who already got the permit still have to be careful from another terrible line of fire, because the smallest mistake is all over, and plenty of incidents are happened, and still are happening, to be very honest. You can research for the last 100 years and see how many incident or accident happened just within restricted areas or danger zone areas, or especially in confined space areas. Now, a confined space entry permit ensures the proper preparation of confined space, identification and control of hazards, the safe entry and exit of personnel, rescue plans are in place. True, we need all these set of programs and the documentation and the kind of system actually to be safe there. Now, confined space entry plan is the written to isolate, depressurize, clean, drain, purge, or ventilate. So confined space entry plan is the written, it's a written program to isolate, how to disconnect all sort of energies, depressurize all sort of pressures, or could be hydraulic, pneumatic, or even cleaning, maybe water clean, maybe kind of a steaming process, and draining all hazardous materials, liquids. Purging might be going to use nitrogen for purging, and ventilate might be the natural ventilation or mechanical ventilation by using blower, or even continuous ventilation while you're performing any sort of activity there. But especially performing emergency rescue unique to a specific confined space, yes, we required procedures. So it's a game of procedures. The right option is A. Now, during the joint site inspection, all hazards and controls are identified and recorded on the work permit form and become conditions for the confined space entry. True. During the joint site inspection, all hazards and controls are identified. So JSI is not kind of a formality. We truly need to take it serious, especially I'm talking to the already approved, qualified, and operationally working within Saudi Aramco, the WPRs. Please take this JSI seriously, because that is a first single most important document where you can ensure your safety. Don't rely 100% only on Aramco safety, because your safety must be your top priority as well. Now, exercise D, select question number 1. Select the correct statement when LEL equal to the greater than 10%. No entry is permitted. An LEL concentration of less than 5% allows what? Only cold work. When carbon monoxide concentration is greater than 35 ppm but less than 1000 ppm, SCBA is needed. No, rescue from a confined space can only be done by a trained rescue team, a trained, qualified, well-tested, validated, operationally sound trained team. The standby man must have and ensure all entrants sign the CSC for all confined space entry. Maybe air mover, vacuum truck, no, entry log. Entry log is important. Whosoever is there. And to be very honest, the standby man must be the bold enough, the confident one. Either coming anyone from Saudi Aramco, even the president of Saudi Aramco, who want to wish to go into that confined space, still you are authorized to stop him, ask him why you want to go there. I mean, you're not part of that team. I mean, or if you still allow him to go inside, make sure he sign. He signed that CSC log sheet. Same way, if someone is coming from your top management, don't take any pressures. Tell them to sign what's your ID, your name, your time in, time out, why you want to go inside. Everything must be logged inside the log sheet. Now, ignition sources must be eliminated or controlled in a confined space. If they're present, like torch, cutting, you must ensure what? Periodic gas tests are critical. When we do normally the gas tests, before issuing the permit, we required gas testing. Before first entry, we required gas testing. After the breaks, if we are coming out and going back again, we need gas testing. After every 2 hours, as per Saudi Aramco, we have to do gas testing. And sometimes, as per the nature of the project, we conduct gas testing continuously. So bear in mind, gas testing is not like a simple kind of formality only. It's a very much important, because through that, you can be familiar what are the invisible monsters in terms of toxic gases or flammable gases are there, and smallest mistake, smallest ignition source is all over. So don't underestimate the value of your authorized gas testers. That's why you must have T40 rattler and an authorized gas tester, with some other equipment to perform gas testing. So no, ignition sources must be eliminated or controlled in a confined space. How? Periodic gas testing, fire protection equipment like air movers and other electrical equipment, all the answers. So all the answers is the right answer. Now, question number 7, confined space entry is not permitted if atmosphere is at or above 10% LEL, lower explosive limit. H2S concentration is at or above 100 ppm, carbon monoxide at or above 1000 ppm, oxygen is above than 23.5%, no entry in a confined space as per Saudi Aramco. So the answer is E, all the answers. Now select the correct statement when LEL equal to or greater than 10%. No entry are permitted. Rescues from the confined space can only be done by a trained rescue team. The standby man must have an ensure all entrants sign the entry log. Communication between entrant and standby man can be done through like two-way radio or rope communication oath method, or even hand signal also is possible. But more logically, technically sound is two-way radio and rope communication. And in some theories, the answer is all the answers. Now, you can confirm with the training center you're joining in what is the answers correct within their system, okay. So make sure you confirm, because there are some confused questions among all the training centers. That is like, in our opinion, the two-way radio and rope communication, but some institute they're going to say, no, no, hand signal is also possible. So, like in hand signal, like even you can punch something and create a sound with the hands. That's what they believe. So some they're gonna say all of the answers is correct, but in technical way, as per our opinion, two-way radio and rope communication oath method is the correct answers. Now, 12 question number: ignition sources must be eliminated or controlled with the present torch, like periodic all answers. We gave the answer already. And confined space entities are not. These are some of the repeated questions. So all the answers. Now, which of the following, including but not limited to confined spaces? All are confined spaces. So all of the above. Entering a permit space can prove fatal for an employee when an oxygen level is below 20% and above 23%. So B and C. No. Please let me correct here. The answer is below 20%, that means C, and above 23.5%, that means B. So B and C, not A and C, B and C. I repeat again, B and C is the right answer. Okay. No, any employee can enter a permit required confined space to carry out necessary repairs or maintenance. False. Not all employees, only authorized, trained. Which of the following not a confined space that requires a permit? A space that is designed for continuous employee, because a place which is not designed for continuous employee occupancy is called confined space. And the question is not a confined space. So any place which is designed for continuous employee occupancy. Now, what steps must an employer take after determining that the workplace has permit required confined space areas? Develop and implement a written program. Quite simple. Which of the following must be tested first before an employee enters? Oxygen content must be verified first of all. Must be tested. Oxygen level must be tested, because we, as a human being, our first need is the oxygen, right? So make sure this is 20% and 20 to 23.5%, the normal range what we are looking for. What does the IDLS stands for? Immediately dangerous to life or health. Atmosphere that contain a flammable component above what percentage? LEL are considered hazardous for confined space, 10%. When you see this sign, look at this sign, the word danger, and this image, you should understand that you are entering an area with confined space. Saudi Aramco mandates that the WPR and WPR sign the entry permit before an employee begin work in a confined space. True. An attendant or standby man can leave an entry point of a permit space to help the employee into the confined space without being. No. False. Standby man means only a standby man. In some cases, Saudi Aramco says we can use him as a fire watch, but not always. A confined space can be large as tank versus yes, true. Employers must have a written program to cover permit required confined space. So written system must be there, set up procedures, policies, even plans, Yes, training is required for all employees working in with permit required confined space. True. Standby man must maintain constant contact with entrance. True. Standby man should always remove entrance from a confined space when a hazardous situation occurs. True. Trained and authorized rescue workers should enter confined space only when absolutely necessary. True. Confined space atmosphere must be tested for oxygen, flammability agent, and any other toxic agents. Yes, we need to conduct gas testing. At least, as per Saudi Aramco, 4 important elements you are not going to ignore. Number 1, oxygen level. make sure it is 20 to 23.5%, and the H2S below 10 ppm, and 0 is ideal. And same way LEL, if it is hot work above 0% LEL, no hot work is allowed. If it is cold work below 5% LEL, cold work is allowed without SCABA for 8 hours. But 5 to 10% LEL, cold work is allowed, but make sure you have SCABA and certain permissions from Saudi Aramco. And then on the other side, above then 10% LEL, no entry. Same way, carbon monoxide below 35 ppm, you are allowed to work for 8 hours. It's kind of a PL, permissible exposure limit, but 35 to 1000 ppm, you need SCABA and certain permissions from Saudi Aramco, and above then 1000 ppm, no entry. Same way, we're gonna talk about LEL we discuss, H2S, yes, H2S also we discuss below 10 ppm, and 10 to 100 ppm, we need SCABA and certain permissions, and above than 100 ppm, not allowed to enter. I hope it will help, inshallah. The use of continuous force air ventilation can be used to eliminate potential and accurate atmospheric hazards. True. Entrance should drown in a confined space filled with clean. Yes, true. And entrapment can occur in permit required confined space due to the shape or design of the space. True. Some permit required confined space risks include electrical hazards, moving machinery, stored energy, heat, and falls. True. Lockout and PP shall be used when appropriate for employee and peers. Permit required confined space. True. An entry permit must state the required amount of time for the task to be completed. True. The permit required confined space permit should be retained for 1 year. True. But sometime for 3 years, no harm to keep it, because after all, if something goes wrong, these records, even legally, can keep you secure. Which of the following are hazards that may be encountered in a confined space? All are hazards, like material that can engulf an entrant, moving machinery, and oxygen deficiency. All of the above. Entrant responsibilities: take an active role, alert the attendant and also the entrance and standby man, exit the entry as ordered by the attendant. So all of the above. Employees must be trained prior to performing CSC. Yes, they must be trained. True. Acceptable oxygen level for confined space entry 20 to 23.5%. No, it's true actually. Acceptable oxygen level for confined space entry at 20 to 23.5%. So it's true, not false. Please make it true, okay? Now, an attendant, a standby man, may leave the area of the confined space entry for brief period. False. Horizontal entry requires, especially the lifeline, where engulfment hazard is. True. Entry may not exceed the time required to complete the assigned work. True. Saudi Aramco have specific procedures for each type of space at their facilities. True. So we need to follow Saudi Aramco regulations. And to be very honest, sometimes I say Saudi Aramco might not be required any sort of WPRs if there are no confined spaces or restricted areas or prohibited areas or danger zones, because any activity you are doing in a hazardous area, of course, required someone to be fully responsible in identifying the hazards proactively and controlling them, eliminating them in advance before even you start your activity or project. So good luck and stay safe. Keep in touch. I'm always open to learn, open to contact, and you can hire me as a trainer, even as an internal trainer for your company, online, any sort of training you require, with some sort of certifications as well. And if you require some international trainings, so with our collaborative partners, we are quite capable to serve you globally, inshallah, for NIBOSH, IGC from UK, and IADC from USA, IOSH again from UK, and some trainings for HABC UK for food safety level 1, 2, 3, and IRCA CQI lead auditing courses from UK as well, especially for 9001, 45,001, 14,001, 22,001, and several others. And you can also hire us as a consultant, especially to develop a pre-qualification system for Saudi Aramco as per their requirements, and even for 5-star safety programs of Saudi Electricity, and plenty of other things. So you can hire us as an internal auditor, as a third party, second party auditor. We can conduct audits on your behalf to your contractors. So Best International is always there to support you. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care of yourself. And I hope these 3 videos related to lockout tagout and hazard recognition control and confined space entry will definitely be helping you a lot for passing your third party exam with any training institute approved by Saudi Aramco in Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. Bye bye.